amazing, beautiful people. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. Here we are, right at the end of the Great Exchange series, and it's a wrap. And so today, I just wanted to celebrate each of you who have walked through step by step and exchanged some ugly stuff for some helpful stuff. Because I am so not into the unhelpful and the ugly, and we're into the helpful and the things that bring us joy. In week 1, we exchanged wickedness for goodness. And you know, the peace that comes over us when we're in alignment with actually how we're made. Just so exciting. And then ruthlessness was session 2 for mercy, where all that frustration and anger and wanting life our own way to actually having that compassion and empathy, it moves mountains. And I love that. So I hope that that's moved mountains in your heart, that then moves mountains in your head, and actually mountains are mindsets. And then in the 3rd week, we exchanged hate for love, or bitterness for being better. Because at the end of the day, we can focus on the ugly stuff. And you know, like it's ugly, it's horrid, it's bitter, it's hateful, it's unhelpful. And that stuff literally makes me feel sick. It's horrid. Whereas when we focus on love, it's like, oh my goodness, just bring it on. You know, like, look at me, I've got open arms. I'm like, let's go. Let's do this. Because actually each one of us is programmed for love. And then we had sadness for joy. So that kind of sits in the same space as that, you know, sadness. I'm not saying don't grieve. We absolutely have to grieve. You know, yesterday I went to a beautiful church for the first time. We were in a different area. And the love, you know, there was an honor of a beautiful family where the father or the husband had committed suicide this week. Just, you know, that is extremely sad. It's, you know, you pray that this stuff can make it, you know, can not happen. But the joy was in the morning. The joy was actually in this beautiful church family coming around this lovely lady and her family. The joy was in the compassion and the love and the truth that was poured out. So even in our sadness, in our darkest times, we can still find joy. And the joy was in the Lord. There she was praising Jesus in a time when her heart was broken. It was unreal. And then we had chaos for calm. You know, chaos is actually that enemy. He has such a pain in the proverbial, just quietly. You know, he wants us to be busy, 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 doing. You know, we're full on, and then this is happening and that's happening. But if we pause for calm, let me just reflect, let me just pause, let me just think, then I can be in the business of life rather than the busyness of life. Makes such a difference, such a difference. And then in week 6, we looked at that frustration. That's where the anger comes in again, for patience. How can we be kind to ourselves? How can we be patient with ourselves? How can we then be patient and kind with others? Just because people don't do it my way. And let me tell you, I was on the phone this morning to a mentor after yesterday's preach. I'm like, what's going on here? What's going on there? Why? I was frustrated. Why? Because I didn't understand. And I needed somebody to bounce off so that I could bring myself back into that peaceful state, back into that honoring space, back into that patient stage. Just because I saw something and I see that, they'll see something else that I don't see. And we've got to start looking at this together. We've got to, not just me from my position and my opinion, but how all of us see things. And I just needed a perspective that would open me up again. Number 7, or week 7, was, you know, forced to gentleness. I can push and bash down as many doors as I like, but quite frankly, it's so much easier when someone opens the door for me and I walk through. Easy. And that's that force. We can either force our way through, we can put our hands up, I'm the best person on this planet, I'm this, push, push, push. Or we can just rest. and let God lead the way. Open the door for us. It's gentle. It's a pull motivation, not a push motivation. You're guided into it. It's so much nicer. And then number 8, week 8, I talked about being out of control versus self-control. Out of control is probably the most scary place in the world to be. When we feel like our circumstances are out of control, we're out of control, we're not in a space where we want to be. It makes us feel sick. It can be completely a space of anxiety and stress. Unhelpful. Whereas if I just take a deep breath and consider where I am right now, bring myself back into the present. Yep, I've got this. I know I've got this because Jesus has got this, just quietly. But that self-control, there's no rush. If I do this video now or tomorrow, as long as I get it done, it's all that matters. So just being kind and actually just planning stuff and working things through so that I feel in control of my life. And then the 9th week was all about falsehood for authenticity. So we wanted to exchange the falsehood for authenticity. This is all about not this way, this way. I am so intolerant. It's like something that's been put in my body from day one. I cannot cope with people who lie. And that is, it's just like something's incongruent. I start twitching. It's like, oh! So that falsehood, people lying, people pretending to be somebody they're not, drives me nuts. But when somebody is authentic, when somebody is true to who they are, their values might be different to mine, but when they're true, they're their best authentic self. Whoa, it makes me pump. There's an amazing guy who's been doing all my printing for, he's actually the print house in Havelock North. There we go, quick pitch. But James, he's just amazing. He's great at what he does. His printing is next level. I am so stoked. We might have different values. We might do different things. We might see different ways. I've really enjoyed what he does. He's authentic to who he is. He's not trying to be somebody else. He's true to who he is, and I honor him for that. And then in week 10, we looked at poverty, not having enough, and exchanging it for prosperity, more than enough. There's more than enough food. Do you know what? There's more than enough food in this world to go around. And yet we have people starving. There's more than enough money to go around. Yet we have people on the streets. So we need to move from poverty to prosperity, and we need to look at how we can shift that and work that so that everybody is in a place of prosperity and abundance. But it starts with us. It starts with our prosperity, our abundance, and how can I overflow and give it to others? Number 11, or week 11, was distance for empathy. I really looked at, what makes us stand back and pull away. Putting distance between the people that we love, putting those invisible walls up that are so unhelpful. That goes back to that falsehood. We think we're keeping ourselves safe, and actually what we're doing is we're distancing ourselves from the people that we really love. That's nuts. Whereas if we can find empathy, if we can understand it, if we can put ourselves in another person's shoes, if we can see a bigger picture, which is exactly what I needed to do today after yesterday's sermon. So it's like, whatever it is, we need to find that empathy. We need to find that space so that we can connect, so that we can come together and love in all circumstances. Because together, everyone achieves more. And then last week was all about the consumer or creator. Are we consuming? And interestingly, today, I just deleted another automatic email that I unsubscribed from. Tyler Watson is amazing. He does a lot of tapping, and he is the most incredible guy to follow. He really is. If you want someone to listen to, go and listen to him. He's next level. But he's not where I am right now. I need to be creating, not consuming. And so as I exited out of his mailing list, and it gives you an opportunity to comment, I said, thank you for doing what you are doing. You are excellent. This isn't where I'm being called to do. I'm not being called to follow you in this season, but keep going. I'm sure our paths will cross again. So, sometimes it's just timing. It's just not now. So that really wraps up our 12 weeks together. My goodness, it's been fun exchanging the unhelpful for helpful. Hopefully you've had wisdom and insight. And I'm going to celebrate you for slowing down, for pausing long enough to go and listen to a 10 or 15-minute video each week, for getting out of the busyness of life and exchanging for being the business of life. So now we get to think about what's coming ahead. Celebrating you for hitting the pause button, for doing the self-reflection, because this stuff is actually helping you to really think. It's asking questions of you personally. It's about you taking responsibility for your life, no one else's. But as you take responsibility for your life, you pour out more. And then looking at how you're winning or learning. And that sits behind just about everything I coach or work with or do. We have to pause to see what's been good and what we can learn. We have to self-reflect because actually we only live our own lives. So well done. And you know what? I'm going to congratulate everyone who's been with us for 3 series now. The first series was an inspiring perspective and just an overview of maybe how I perceive things in life. And then everything's about relationships. So the second series was about relational intelligence and really how we can knit together and work together in unity and one accord. And then this series, well done, you're at the end, was all about the great exchange, exchanging the unhelpful for helpful. And oh my goodness, does that fill my boots. And the next series, coming up soon, is going to be living life by design. It is time to take all of that information and give you some short, practical, down-to-earth, day-to-day tips so you can win in your game of life. So we have done some amazing things. Coming up is going to be dynamic decluttering, what to say yes to, what to say no to. Maybe looking at what you focus on, because what you focus on expands. That is the number one thing that is actually going to come out in business now is the capacity for attention and focusing. So we're going to look at that. And the fact that imagination is more important than knowledge. It's time to see the unseen. It's time for you to be the brilliant person you were called to be. It's time to get those flipping drone, eyes off and start seeing things for what they really are. We're going to look at multiplication, how you can expand, how you can grow, how you can be even more and do even more than you are today. We're going to look at what gives you leverage, those small hinges that open big doors to your opportunity and possibilities. We're going to look at exchange rates, how to exchange the unhelpful for helpful, but also how to exchange your baggage for your luggage, that lovely 80-20% rule. You know what? 80% of my life now needs to change, and I keep the 20% to go, become the 80% to go further forward. If I want to 10x my life, which we're going to talk about, we need to do something different. We're going to look at the morning and evening routines, so how to finish strong so you start strong. How to really pop and bookend your day so that you are super productive. We're going to look at some habit stacking. There's some great stuff in there to how to build and grow, and how winners have done lists. How to create that done list rather than that to-do list. How to look at the gain, not the gap. And also how to look at your life. Does your life happen to you? Does it happen for you? Or does it happen because of you? We're going to really pump so that you can live your life by design. So I superbly thank you for being here today, for being with me, for hanging out with me. And just so that you know, for those of you who have been on my membership, I'm not going to bombard you now with a weekly email with this on. You can just come and join the YouTube channel. It'll be here every week. What I am going to do is give you a lovely monthly newsletter with lots of information that you can just pick and choose which bits. So it'll be like a 2-second read instead of a 20-minute read. And this, if you want to come and watch it, will be here. So I encourage you, if you are listening to this now, you need to subscribe, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, because I ain't giving you a video, an email every week. It is now going to come into this space. And if you subscribe, you'll get the email. Every time it happens, poof, this has come up. Sally's just released a new episode in season 4 for you. So thank you for being with me. You are amazing. I do love you. And I'm very grateful that you spend time with me, listening and learning, because actually it's about winning and growing. And we just want to do that. So have an amazing God bless week. And I look forward to seeing you next week with season 4. Take care. God bless.